Hello. I'm in my car in town, but I'm about to hop out and go and catch a bus to somewhere that I've not been before. And you've not been before, presumably. Forgive me if you have. But certainly we've not been before together. So I'll leave you dangling and then like literally in the next second we'll be there. But suffice it to say, I'm very much looking forward to this. And it's a lovely day for it, so let's hope it's as good as I hope it's going to be. Reminds me of home.
Which is this one here, 1, 2, 3. So that travels across my body. Same in this hand. So this is a dual hand routine. And what you're going to see with the kahuna is a staggered crack. So that means that it's not together time like this. It's staggered out. One goes right after the other. Are we ready for my next routine? Say yeah. Woo! All right, here we go.
We follow it to Mower. No, available. This is Mower.
People bringing in their produce from home.
Run.
Our main character syndrome is this jerk. Like, literally the access to the footpath. And he's up there with his fishing line, going from the dune all the way down to the sea. Basically so that if you're not careful, you'll get decapitated, having to negotiate the line, which is barely visible. End of the line today. Let's head back. Still there. What a thoughtless chap. Plus I saw him pissing in the dunes. It's that dreaded time of the year again when Vita's off to her annual vet trip. You might have heard that. She's next to me in her cage, feeling not particularly happy. Hey. I wanted to show you all this, which is my entry to this year's EGAG Wrap Small Artwork competition, which both Will and I have entered in the past. If you don't know, it's a local exhibition open to entrants from all over the world, the stipulation being if it's a picture, it can be no bigger than 30 by 30 centimetres, in that ballpark, framed, and sculptures need to be within a certain size limit too, hence the small artwork competition and prize. So there is prize money up for grabs, but also all the artworks are for sale. This is my entry. It is a fabric collage which I have called I Do Like Two Bees Beside the Seaside. As you can possibly tell, I have rendered bumblebees out of fabric. If I didn't mention it already, it is a fabric collage. And I have put them at the seaside. The shells aren't attached to the frame. I'm in two minds about whether I will do that or if I won't bother. This has been inspired by the weekends that Will and I have been spending at the seaside recently, where randomly enough I have seen a number of what appeared to be bees, not bumblebees. We don't get those in mainland Australia to the best of my knowledge, but bees on the beach. Not happy bees at that. So anyway, I was inspired by that, but I rendered them as bumblebees because I thought that would be easier to convey. So this is my finished artwork. All the artworks are for sale. So if you're interested, I'm asking for $100 for this, which is about £50. There is an entrance fee of $45, so that's to cover that and the materials. But it was like the other entries that I have put forward is very unlikely to sell. I'll show you my previous entry. I called this one Happiness, and forgive the reflections in the glass, I hope you can see it, but it's inspired by the penchant Australians have for having working dogs ride around in the back of their utes, in the trailers of their utes or their pickup trucks. So this is inspired by a scene local to me. We have these sort of switchbacky roads which wend their way down and up the valleys. And Will made the frame for this one, so that was excellent. But as you can see, obviously, in my house, it didn't sell, which sort of surprises me. I think that's pretty good. And then the first entry I put in the competition was called Cheese Worshipper, inspired by, if she's here, Vita the cat, who is utterly obsessed by cheese, and if I can find a photo of that, I'll flash it up, because that one did sell, but it did sell to Will's sister, so very much remains within the family. Nevertheless, I was quite pleased with that. So fingers crossed. I do like 2 bees beside the seaside. Goes to a home that will appreciate it. Well, that's enough of that nonsense. Now it's time to start work on the garden. Just taking the recycling down to the store, so I'll put it there for now and explain what that's going to look like. I've already just done some digging there on the kitchen garden beds, and for the rest of this morning my plan is to fertilise the plants which require fertilising. So that's the plants that are in flower and the citrus, really, because they're very, very thirsty plants. I'm going to be doing a spot of weeding on the donut bed and the original flower bed. I'm hoping I can do little and often to keep on top of it. I'm going to cut back the buddleia now that it's finished flowering and let that spring up again as it's wont to do. And I'm going to mow the lawns, and all of this is in preparation for our up and coming visit to Tasmania, where we're competing in the Point to Pinnacle event again, which is a half marathon up a mountain. So I'm trying to get the garden in ship shape before we go away. That's the fertilising done. Time to start mowing the lawns. That's the mowing done, the weeding done, which just leaves pruning the buddleia. And prior to that, I'm going to go and tackle this lemon, because there's a whole limb of it which is not looking happy. So I'm going to take it out. But sadly, there's been a sort of change in fortunes with these 2 citrus trees which are here. This is an orange tree, and for a long while it looked very, very sickly indeed, and the lemon was just this glorious tree. But what's happened over time is that I've coaxed the orange back into life, and the lemon has just got worse and worse. But anyway, I hope if I take this limb out, that might help it a bit. And then, as I say, final job for this morning, dealing with all of that. There we go. Where the buddleia used to be, there is now the beginnings of the next buddleia for next spring. And it's opened up the space a bit more so that this Californian tree peony is getting a bit more light. Same for the lavender and the oregano. And there's a lemon. Just took off a couple of bits of branches which were looking a bit iffy. So let's hope that it comes good. I've got my John Deere LA 115 ride-on lawnmower out because I'm having to do a little bit of routine maintenance on it, or at least try to. Last time I used it, I noticed that it was scalping the lawns a bit, and that's because the blades, well, this has got 2 blades, but both sides of this blade have bent. So as I hope you can see, this cutting blade has got a very dramatic bend in it. This is the other side. And it shouldn't be like that, it should actually be straight. Not so easy to show, but you might be able to see this one. It doesn't have that pronounced bend down. So something's happened to that other blade. I'm not sure if it's hit a stone or if it's in fact hit the cutting deck itself, in which case that's quite problematic, because it means that's going to happen again as soon as we put the new blade on. But anyway, we're going to have to try. Unfortunately, there's no way around it other than taking the cutting deck off. I hate it when things are fiddly. I wish I could just sort of flip the ride-on its side, but because of the way the cutting deck protrudes, I just can't see that being possible. So I'm going to have to remove it. I don't like doing stuff like that. Apparently it's supposed to be very easy. I don't tend to find things like that easy. But we'll have a go and then see what it's looking like when we've got a clearer view of it. Look, I actually did a thing all on my own. And now I can show you a bit more easily what the problem is. So if we assume that they're supposed to be identical, you can see that they're not. Hence why I've got two replacements. This is the bit where I might need Will's help though, because inevitably that's going to be done up so tight it'll elude the capabilities of my own strength. So hopefully Will can help me with that when he gets home. And hopefully the problem was that I hit a stone rather than anything to do with the cutting deck itself, as I say. But we shall find out. I'll update you presently. The weather's taken a bit of a turn since last we spoke. A succession of thunderstorms are passing by, so I didn't film what we did on the ride-on lawnmower because we were just keen to get it done. But as I did promise an update, suffice it to say, we managed to successfully replace the blade. We took the decision of only replacing the one that was broken because there didn't seem any point replacing the one that was okay. So we've now got a spare, which is probably handy. And I will say, I think Will and I are getting better at this sort of thing because we actually managed to do that pretty hassle-free. It was fairly straightforward, difficult just in terms of physically undoing the nut. But we sort of expected that would be the case. But we persevered. I did follow a couple of YouTube videos for both stages, one for removing the cutting deck and one for replacing the blade, and I will link those below in case you're also wanting to replace the cutting blade or blades on your John Deere LA 115. They were very, very helpful. But yes, it successfully completed task, and I did take it out for a little spin just on the lawn here, just to check that it was all working fine, and it was. Didn't fly off, they didn't clash with each other, and I wasn't getting the sort of gouging, ploughing problem that I was getting. So I'm going to beat a hasty retreat before the next shower moves in, and I will catch up with you next week, where actually it's highly likely it'll be the Hobart special, so stay tuned for that.